All right, Kyle, I'm excited to finally upload our inaugural podcast episode. This is exciting.
Me too. How do you feel about entering the YouTube world?
I'm a little apprehensive about it, to be honest, but
We've been fighting it for the last couple of years.
I think by this point it's good to put some of this stuff up there. Especially, I'm really excited to bring in some of the fitness videos that we've made. Yeah. There's a lot of good stuff to put out, so we're gonna be sprinkling it in.
I love it.
Yeah. So Sebo was our first podcast episode that we put out. He was very willing to sit there for an hour on Zoom while we waited for you to figure out your technical difficulties.
Oh, that's right.
And
damn, I forgot about that.
Had it been anyone else, I don't think we would have had a first episode. I think it would have just been.
Yeah, he was the perfect first guest, wasn't he?
Yeah. And how a year and a half in, almost 2 years, how are we doing with those technical difficulties, Kyle?
Oh man, they never stop. They never stop. You've transferred your tech curse to me. I don't know why, but you did.
Yeah.
And I mean, I understand what you've gone through all these years editing all the videos that you've had to edit, and I get it now. So
I'm glad. Yeah, there were some serious meltdowns that Kyle witnessed when I was in high school and we were making videos. I was like young, and you would have to leave. Like, I got to give this guy some space, and I've been kind of dealing with it ever since. And finally, here we're on the same team now. It's amazing.
Yeah. Does that make you happy, Walker?
No, it really doesn't. I wish they would have just all gone away altogether, but at least there's a level of empathy that I hope you have.
Fucking didn't go all the way. They all got transferred to my computer. So,
well, anyway,
but it's been a good lesson in patience, and I do understand what you go through when you edit all this stuff. So yeah.
Well, anyways, Sebo's our first podcast episode. What we are going to have after our little intro is a snippet of it. In the episode, Sebo talks about a wrist injury he had, and we go deep into the Sebo Warm Up, which you and Sebo came up with together, and we explained that. And what we left out,
that sounds like more than a snippet.
It's a half, I would say. It's half of the podcast, because the rest of it, we go real deep into discussing Transworld's The Reason.
Yes, we did.
I believe it was a 1999 video that came out. And it's a good conversation. Video. We go seriously, we nerd out is what we do. So
we did.
I recommend everyone listen to that episode in full. Talk about my favorite part, Sebo's favorite part, your favorite part. But in the spirit of talking about favorite parts, why not just kick this episode off with our favorite Transworld parts of all of the Transworld parts?
I love it. We got a lot of good videos to choose from.
Yeah, so I'm kind of excited because I don't know yours, you don't know mine, and I want to hear about it. So let's start with your list, and let's go number 3.
All right, so this is the list.
Top Transworld video
parts. Top 3 Transworld video parts. Yeah. Top 3, okay. All right, you want me to go first?
I want you to go first, yeah.
All right, my number 3, Chad Tim Tim, A Time to Shine.
Damn, good choice.
Classic part. Love the song. I forget the name of the band, but the song goes perfectly with his skating. You could tell he worked hard, put a lot of effort and thought into the video part. And dude, he does tricks that a lot of people don't do.
Yep.
So I appreciated all those things, and I watched that video part over and over and over when it came out. What was that? Mid 2000s, like 2006, 2007.
That was when we were skating a lot together, because I feel like we would watch that video. First of all, we were so excited for that video to come out, and then we would watch it constantly.
Yeah.
It was, and fun fact about that song, Rob Welsh used that song first.
Really?
It was
interesting.
It was his song in Free Your Mind. And
interesting. I
at
did not
the
know
premiere, but then something happened with the music rights or whatever, because it's the ain't no sugar in my coffee,
Yep.
sugar in my tea, whatever. Yeah.
that. Dang.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yep. And then it ended up as Chad Timtim's part.
Another fun fact, now that you're mentioning us skating a lot back then, I basically copied Chad Timtim's kit. Remember that period of time where I got a bunch of footage wearing half cabs and corduroys?
Yep.
Was because of that video part.
Nice.
So.
Well, speaking of
Yeah,
speaking of copying kits, I'm gonna start with my third, and
All right,
my
let's hear
list is they're basically all number ones, but Stefan Janowski and Subtleties.
Oh, good one.
I swear, I like all his loose garments, you know, like his long sleeves and his like undershirts. I mean, that was like the only look I thought mattered.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. I never really thought that we were such biters, but I guess we are.
And kind of to this day, you still rock the loose.
Yeah, but
long
he had
sleeve.
like sweaters. I mean, it was the whole thing. I
that's true.
don't quite run it like that. That was like when I was filming the 510 video. I was like definitely biting his style, and you know, all his tricks too. I mean, that part is so like Stefan perfection in my mind.
Yep.
You know, the gnarly frontside flips, the switch nose grinds, all the casual switch gnar. It's so good. And what is it? A Modest Mouse song?
Modest Mouse song.
It's funny we both went in the same era.
Last part?
Yeah, last part. He does some serious bangers, like rail tricks regular too. Like gapped. I remember it's gapped 5-0, and there's that like. And let's just talk about the switch flip at the end.
Yep.
That huge double set, I don't know what it is. I never looked at it, but it's like a 7 flat 2, but like with a street length. I don't know. Stefan is king in my eyes. He deserves every penny.
You're right. That was the video. Wasn't that the video before Time to Shine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
so you're right. Same era.
We're talking Jason Hernandez and John, right?
Yep.
That's so funny. Like those ones really stuck. The funniest thing about both those videos for us as friends is that it was the filming too that we were really psyched on. Remember, like,
and we would try to copy the filming too.
Yeah, like long lens,
especially the Jason Hernandez long lens zoom stuff. I remember
rolling long lens. I feel like
rolling long lens. Yep, that was our thing. Yeah. You remember why
we did it,
or why we tried to copy the long lens filming?
Because neither of us knew how to handle it. We didn't have the proper fisheye.
Yeah, I think for a while we just had the VX 2000.
Yeah.
And the fisheye for that wasn't as good.
Exactly.
So we just tried to master the long lens.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny, man. It brings back a lot of memories. That was you're right. We did skate a lot back then.
Yeah.
Or in that, in those few years.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go with your number 2.
All right. Number 2, classic part. It was almost my number 1. I was going back and forth. Mike Carroll, Modus Operandi.
Mandatory.
Kind of predictable. It's on everyone's top list, I feel like, but great song. Of course, the line at the beginning is classic. I would just watch that line over and over and over again. What spot was that? City Hall?
Library.
And then rewatching it, because I rewatched it a couple times in preparation for this conversation. He's got some bangers. I forgot his big hand roll tricks that he did in that part.
Buck. He got Buck.
So I feel like this was like his prime, you know. So that was my number 2. Anything else you remember about that video part?
Well, it's not Mike Carroll, but the 180 switch crook by Scott Johnson.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Is like,
how could I forget? Like one of the best tricks of all time.
Yep. And you know, speaking of filming long lens, rolling long lens, but no, I feel like it stands out. It's a trick that I think of when I think of Transworld videos.
Yeah.
Is that a weird statement? But I just think Transworld videos, and I think of like, dun, 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 and he's just grinding that trick.
Yeah, and the slow mo is perfectly done, and you got the long lens filming captured perfectly, like everything.
Yeah.
Everything that Transworld mastered.
Yep.
during that time period was encapsulated in that one
Yeah.
trick, I feel like. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
And that is
That was
so
almost
gnarly.
that was almost my number one, but I gave it number 2. Sorry, what were you going to say?
No, it's just that trick itself is so gnarly, and everything in that part is gnarly, actually. Like, he does really, really good tricks that would totally stand up today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was another thing I thought about when rewatching it. The part would do well currently.
Yeah. All right, so do I get to say my number 2?
What's your number 2? Let's hear it.
All right, so number 2 for me, I'm going back to that same era, Subtleties, Time to Shine, First Love, and it's Ryan Gallant.
Oh, nice.
Which is kind of a random one, but
It is kind of random, unexpected.
Yeah, it's so beautiful in its simplicity, and I feel like it's when Ryan Gallant was really in his prime. You know, we saw him in the Plan B videos. We saw him a little bit in PJ Ladd's Wonderful Horrible Life, obviously. But this is when he was like really in his prime. Like, he could do no wrong. Everything he did was so relaxed, and after getting on Circa with him and skating with him, I'm pretty sure everything he did was like so easy. Like, he's like one of those skaters that
It looked easy, at least. Yeah.
he's not faking it. He's not one of those guys that like makes it look easy. He is that good. And so some spots probably make it hard, but he just goes and does tricks that are impossible and does it like in 6 tries or something like that. It's crazy.
And you saw that.
And I saw that
when
later
when you
in
skated
his life.
Circa together.
I saw that later, and this was when he was like truly, I think, in his prime, and it's just so cool to watch. And they used like the best song ever. Can't believe they got rights to it. I dealt with the rights drama with Transworld videos for my part, and you know, it can be hard to get a classic song. It can be hard to get like a non-classic song, like a random song. Like, I got denied for a Broken Bells song that I wanted to use.
Oh, really?
And ended up using the Temptations, which is weird, but
I was gonna say you got a pretty classic, well-known song. How'd you get that? Just luck?
Yeah, I think it's kind of a lucky thing. Certain songs fall into a category of being like available for cheap, whereas like some artists hold on to songs a little bit more closely. But what the song?
How much does a song? Sorry to sidetrack too much, but I've always wondered this. How much does a song? Like, how much was your song? Do you remember?
No, I have no idea. That's not. I was not a part of the conversation. I would guess between $1,000 and $3,000.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So it's expensive, but a lot of it's just getting the rights. Is that kind of the issue?
I think so. Yeah.
Well, dude, the song fit perfectly with Gallant's part.
Yeah. All right. So what about you? Number. Oh damn, we're up to number 1 with you. What's your number?
We're up to number 1.
This is exciting.
All right. I don't think you'll be surprised about this, but it's a little random for a lot of people. But Rob Welsh, Free Your Mind.
Oh shit!
My number 1,
which we were just speaking about.
Yeah. So yeah, we were talking about Rob Welsh, and he actually is my number 1.
That's good.
And his ride or die part in the aesthetics video is one of my favorite video parts of all time, and I think that came out a couple years before.
Yeah.
So I was just on a big Rob Welsh kick at that time. And do you remember back in the day, Transworld used to hype up these videos quite a bit?
Yeah.
So I remember the hype for the Free Your Mind was a little extra.
Yeah.
Because if you remember, there only ended up being 3 skaters in the video, and I think they really wanted to push the video just to make up for the fact that there weren't going to be as many skaters in it.
I'm a big enough skate nerd to remember who was on the initial ads. Mark Gonzalez.
Yep.
And I can't remember who it was. Oh no, it was KT. It was Kevin Taylor.
Oh yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, Kevin Taylor.
Wow.
KT
Damn,
God. Yeah.
Kevin Taylor. Pulled that out of the depths of your skate nerd brain.
Yeah.
I love it. But anyways, yeah. So I just remember there being a lot of anticipation for that Free Your Mind video, and I was the most excited about the Rob Welsh part. And in my mind, it did not disappoint, and it's my favorite Transworld part of all time.
That's
the skating, his
that's a heavy
style.
one.
I think the song that they chose worked well with his skating, and he wasn't scared to flip his board twice, Walker. His ender was a switch backside double flip, and he pulled it off.
Yeah, it's true. Do you think you would have liked it if it was Chad Timtim's song quite as much?
I need to think about that.
It's hard to visualize, right?
I need to think about that. Like, I picture maybe later in his career, like the Expedition days where he kind of switched up his style a little bit.
Yeah.
I could picture that song working in that era of his skating. But
no,
he needed like the song.
He needed Bay hip hop at the time.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my number one.
That's funny. I vaguely remember him saying that he watched it after they switched it to that song once, and he never watched it again.
No way.
Yeah.
Damn. So he was not on board with the song. I thought the song fit perfectly. All right, Walker,
so
drum roll. Who's your number one?
I hate to just bring it to a number one because there's so many I'm leaving out, and it makes me feel really guilty as a skate nerd.
We'll do an honorable mention in a second. Your number one,
Heath Kirchart, Sight Unseen.
Yeah, of course.
Damn,
he's your number one.
I'm not a rail skater. I'm not like necessarily inspired to skate like Heath, but Nights in White Satin, the song, the vibe, the energy. That's like one of the only Transworld parts like might have cried to at one point. I'm not gonna say I did, but I could have. You know what I mean? Like, it had that emotion.
Yeah, I feel like Heath Kirchart wanted people's emotions to be tugged on when they watched his video parts.
Yeah, or maybe just the editors felt it was necessary, but it's so well done. I feel like it's one of the few perfect video parts out there. There's some clips that aren't filmed like necessarily the best, like of what was happening in the rest of that video, but it is just so good. Like Greg Hunt, you know, he's a master of putting together. Greg Hunt and John Holland, like that was a really good combo when we're talking about like eras. So
it's funny you bring up the fact that some of the clips weren't filmed very well. I noticed that when I rewatched that video part. Yeah. And I think it just goes to show how well edited it was.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, we didn't even, you don't even notice.
Right.
So, yeah. Was that last part?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's funny is when I watched it a second time, like, I for a second couldn't remember what the last trick was, but it's the cover of the video. And I feel like there's something very meaningful about that, the cover of the video being the last trick of the video. And it's just, so much of it is done at night, which I am just not into that anymore. Skating at night, lighting up, making the production of a hammer. I just can barely manage like getting a single like line clip it with a camera light on me.
Right.
So I just respect it because it's hard. It's hard to do that. It's hard to like put yourself in that mode.
Yeah. So and he was all about those night clips back then, I remember.
Yeah.
And it made his footage look really good. What was his last trick? I forget. Was it
tail slide at the
gap out?
Yeah, so you thought of it, yeah. I was blanking the whole time I was watching it the other day.
Yeah. I remember it's a tail slide, but I couldn't remember because remember he does the tail slide on kind of that curved rail.
Yeah. Yeah,
I couldn't remember which tail slide it was.
Yeah. It was the gap out at UCLA.
Yeah, damn, that's at UCLA?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I need to go check that out. It's right down the street.
Yeah.
Good choice, dude. Great choices.
Cool. So what's your first honorable mention?
Honorable mention, Chad Muska, Feedback.
Oh, good one.
Dude,
that's a really good
rewatched that part when I was kind of just looking at parts that came to mind. And if it wasn't for that fucking song, I might have put that in top 3. Songs they played a big role in the choices I made.
Yeah.
But his skating was so insanely good during that period of time.
Yep.
That I almost put him in top 3. What about you?
That's valid. Mark Johnson, Modus.
Oh yeah,
I
sure.
felt a huge amount of guilt, and I still almost feel like I should maybe swap one, but that part is so good. I just love it.
Yeah, that's one of those parts for me that I appreciate more now.
Right.
But back when that video came out, I liked it, but I don't think I liked it as much as the Mike Carroll part.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's a good one. Any other honorable mentions?
Oh man, you mentioned feedback, and I just get to thinking about Arto. I really liked Arto in that era, and I loved his part because it just seemed really fun and easy. Jeff Rawley's in it, just like good.
Yeah.
But true honorable mention, I might have to go with Sean Malto in And Now.
Oh damn, yeah, that was a good one.
It's a Bob Dylan, pretty sure.
That's
or maybe
it's
a remake of a Bob Dylan song, but it's just so good. Yeah.
My last honorable mention is not a traditional skater's skate part, but is one of my favorite Transworld video parts. It was I actually forget the name of the video, but you remember the video where they had different filmers make a video part?
Yeah.
The Jake Johnson Alien video part.
I thought about that one too, for sure. Yeah.
That who's that? Greg Hunt?
No, it was Benny is his name.
Right.
It's like an alien montage, but mostly it's like Jake Johnson. It's kind of a Jake Johnson and Gilbert Crockett part.
Jake Johnson, Gilbert. I feel like a couple of other skaters had a couple of tricks, but that video part was so good.
Yeah.
That was another one that I just got obsessed with for a while.
Yeah.
So that was one I thought about putting in, but I don't know. Just didn't quite fit the...
I know, that was an untraditional Transworld video, but I thought of it too. Because it really is like... It's like an 8-minute montage, I think, and it's the song builds, and it's like
song is so
powerful. Good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good shit, dude.
All right, well, let's get it.
I like your choices.
Yeah, I like yours too. I'm a little jealous, but let's get into the Sebo Walker interview again.
Let's do it.
Quick shout out to Sebo for just being the best dude ever. We love you, Sebo.
Great skater, great friend. Yeah, we love you.
Yep. All right,
and a good interview.
I'm
excited for YouTube to see this shit.
For YouTube.
If you're a skater, then you know how often skateboarding injuries occur. Old Friends Fitness is run by skaters, for skaters, and is the online resource with all the content you need to stay healthy on a skateboard. Old Friends Fitness offers evidence-based information on the most common injuries that skaters face, including detailed exercise videos as well as in-depth podcasts, all designed to arm you with knowledge and keep you as strong and as healthy on a skateboard as possible. What's up, guys? How was the day?
Mellow for me.
Sebo, I'm confused. I thought your cast was multicolored. You already went back to white. What happened?
Yeah, the doctor put it on real poorly. It was cutting my thumb off.
No way.
Both sides.
Full circulation cut?
No, like cutting, like anytime I move, because I'm like I'm like using it pretty normally.
Yeah.
So like here and here was like if I moved it, it would jam it. So I couldn't move it. And I like do the dishes and like I use it basically like normal. So and then Day had wanted to like paint it, so I was like, I'll just get it white and let him paint it because he was stoked on that.
How many more weeks?
Just 2 with this, and then he'll look at it again. The bone's still pretty broken.
Yeah.
The bone that didn't get blasted that much, the one that was in the back, it was just like a straight clean break, whereas the other one was like shattered. The one that shattered is pretty healed. The one that was like a clean break is still like pretty visibly far apart.
Damn.
In the x-ray. So I mean, bones healing into bones, it makes sense. It takes a while. Makes no difference to me. I'm skating the exact same 100%. So I already have I'm gonna have the cast tapes, and it'll be all the tricks in the cast, and it's already already over a minute long of mostly stuff that I didn't post.
Yeah.
So all stuff that hasn't been seen. Yeah, the cast tapes.
You told us the story, but do you want to tell our 2 listeners how you heard it?
Yeah, I know. Can you take us behind the scenes? Because actually it all ties in to this first issue that we're doing on Patreon, because we did the warm up on Zoom where you led it, and then we didn't hear from you for a couple days until we heard that you were in the hospital. So
I could not believe that.
it's like it actually all
Yeah, well, I
ties
don't
in
want to
in this
jinx
funny way.
anybody because it has nothing to do with how I warmed up, But I mean, I was super properly warmed up. I just felt really crazy. But yeah, basically, I went out after that and skated a handrail, and I was getting pretty close to a trick, but at the landing of the rail, it was like a four stair, and it didn't seem like it was close enough to fall on it, but I somehow managed to get wheel by it and kind of like double jump fall, where I jumped pretty far backwards and landed with my wrists out to catch myself on the stairs and just focused it on the corner of a cement stair. So like I turned around and got up and was like, I figured I would have hurt like 4 different sections of my body because I fell like into a 4 stair like this.
Yeah.
But it was just, I immediately was just like, oh, and it was like a lightning bolt.
Oh.
Like you've seen in Thrasher before, and you're like, how does that happen? I was looking down at it and I saw some blood and the bone had popped out a little bit. And so I immediately pulled it into place because it just was like, it wasn't like it was dislocated, but just instinctually was like, it's wrong, put it back,
It broke right in the middle of the forearm, pretty much, right?
Middle of the forearm, both bones.
Damn. And I forget, compound fracture, did it stick through the skin?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, it makes me want to like throw up, dude. It's
Yeah,
so,
so
like,
it has nothing to do, but disclaimer, nothing to do with how I warmed up. Like,
no, I know.
I felt like a worst case scenario.
Yeah.
And in hindsight, I was just like, I didn't even think it was possible to
Yeah.
fall, but now when I skate anything, I look at the landing and it's like, if there's a rock, beware of it. Like, I didn't even think it was possible. I haven't seen the footage. There's footage though. So it's like,
Oh my
dive into
God.
that and really see like how I managed to fall like 12 feet.
But that is a
into
normal
stairs.
type of fall when you're skating a stair set. You travel a lot, especially if you're like just walking, kind of like getting out of a fall. Like,
Yeah. It was like I got wheel bite on a switch front board warming up for a switch hurricane.
yeah.
And
Damn.
took like the first jump back step where I still was gonna fall, but like put a foot down. Whereas if I would have just fallen straight down, I wouldn't have maybe gone all the way to the stair, but it was kind of like instinctually like run out of it, but then like catapulted myself to the stair. Yeah.
Oh.
And I mean, nothing else was hurt, which was crazy though, because it was 4 stairs. So it was like my wrist just took all of it, all of the weight.
How do you feel, or how long do you wait to watch the footage of the injury?
I
'Cause
mean,
I know some people wouldn't be able to like ever watch that.
yeah, I wouldn't want to I wouldn't post it or anything because I was skeptical of posting anything about my arm at all, just because I'm not really a big fan of people posting injuries. Just, I think, and we'll dive into the reason in the falling section because I sort of feel differently about that, but
Yeah.
not to contradict myself. But when you post and you rolled your ankle or something, it's like if your friends are out skating and you see that, it could kind of like mess them up. But to answer your question, I would watch it now. I mean, it happened.
Yeah.
I'm not like a superstitious person. Like, I'm sure it's probably hard to watch because I would kind of relive it. But at the same time, I feel pretty lucky it wasn't worse. It wasn't my head on the corner or my spine
Yeah.
because it was a very intense fall.
Did you have to hop a fence too with it?
Yeah, I had to jump a fence with it. No,
Dude,
nobody was in
that's
there.
the worst nightmare.
That's the part of it where I just like,
Yeah, I don't really know how I did it. I mean, I remember it had a pole in the middle, so like I could kind of like one hand get up, and then I
yeah.
remember like I had to like lift my right leg to like hang over the top, and then kind of like shimmied myself. But like my arm was like dangling, and it was obviously already fully broken and
Yeah.
popped out. So it wasn't like we were like, it might be a sprain. Like I was like, this is like completely focused. I was sort of like sweating and I was going to throw up. I was going to pass out. I was just like silent, like didn't know what to do. My Amber and Kyle are like do you have wire cutters? Like, do we call the cops? Is anybody here? We were
Yeah.
inside, like trapped
Dude.
inside of a school with a left dangler. But
Yeah.
they kind of like were trying to help me jump the fence, but it was like there was not that much that they could do. Once I got over it, I just kind of like let myself
Yeah.
down.
Could you just keep it close?
Yeah, I just was holding it tight because
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like that's when the adrenaline is just completely pumping at just 1,000,000%, and you have like that window of time to do what you need to do before the pain kicks in, or had the pain kicked in already?
I mean, it definitely hurt, but yeah, I was super sweaty, and I was in the middle of
Yeah.
getting close to doing that switch hurricane, so I definitely had a lot of adrenaline pumping, but I have
Damn.
a pretty high pain tolerance, and it was also just like the shock of it sort of neutralized
Yeah.
the pain, and then
Yeah.
but it was
Yeah.
I mean during like COVID-19 going on, it was like the last thing I want to do is go to the hospital, but
Oh, that's right.
but it took a couple hours to get an X-ray, and then by the time they see the X-ray, they're like, "Oh, you're freaking busted."
And you're in the hospital. You had surgery right away, and then you're in the hospital for a few days after that, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I just kind of like sat there in the corner holding my arm in like pure silence and pain for 2 hours, and then once they saw the X-ray, they were like, "Oh yeah, you're so unbelievably broken." Anyway, so then I got like some painkillers, and I remember the Sierra Mist was like the dankest thing I've ever tasted in my life, just because like, well, at first they weren't going to be able to give me any water. Like, mind you, I've been skating in the valley on a hot day for like an hour, so I'm so thirsty, and they're like, we can't give you any water if you're going to get surgery tonight, because I hadn't eaten either. And so I'm just like, I've never been so thirsty in my life.
Damn.
And then when they realized I was going to get surgery in the morning and I was on morphine, then they gave me a Sierra Mist, and I was just like, it was the best thing I've ever tasted in my life, like a Sierra Mist on morphine. But also, it just felt so good to kind of be out of pain, and like, I had a mask on the whole time in the hospital with both forearms completely like shattered, and I have a mask, and I'm sweaty, and nobody can, Ellie couldn't come. Nobody could visit me. I was by myself because my friends couldn't come.
How was that? Did that make a difference? Just not, I mean, I know you're not on your deathbed, dying, but how was it like not having someone to be able to just be there with you for however amount of time you were there?
In the beginning, it was fine just because I was just in so much pain. It's not like would have been fun to be around. It would have been nice to have the comfort of somebody, but at the same time, it was kind of just better to be on my own because I could just sort of go into airplane mode,
Yeah, that's true.
and just try to like get through. But yeah, immediate surgery. The next morning, fell asleep, woke up, and then had to recover. Yeah, it was like 4 days in there, but it was pretty crazy. I wasn't sleeping at all. Time was going by in slow motion. Like, I was like, am I ever going to get out of this? Kind of like a really crazy like drug trip in a hospital. The food just never looked good, and but the Sierra Mist always hit the spot.
All right, and so for the Patreon video for the Sebo Warm Up that we highlight, Kyle went out and filmed Sebo with the cast. That was with the elbow cast too, right? When it was all the way down.
Yeah, but we hit it.
Let's hear about this, Kyle. Like, how was that for you? Were you feeling a little?
Yeah, I had.
Was there an ethical dilemma?
Yeah, my physical therapy self and my skateboarder self had a pretty big debate the day before we had to go get that footage. But yeah, ultimately, Sebo's,
no falls.
Well, yeah, the final verdict was, Sebo's gonna do this anyways.
Right.
Like I can't stop him. Which is probably not the right, conclusion to come to, but ultimately Kyle, the skateboarder, just
had to get those clips.
Yeah, had to get those clips.
I reassured Kyle, the PT, that I was mostly skating with my healthy side forward,
Yeah.
I don't really think about like wrist strength as like something you work on. I know it is, but like, how's his recovery going to look?
Yeah. So, I mean, the basic timeline or the basic sequence of events are you the first several weeks to a couple months, depending on how bad the bone injury is, you just let it heal. That's why you wear the cast. You just let the bone sort of heal to a certain like extent, and then as the bone's healing, you keep the areas that are still free to move. you keep those flexible and you keep those from atrophying. So I had like Sebo doing some finger flexibility exercises, and then he's naturally like keeping his upper arm strong just by skating. I hate to say,
By ripping.
yeah, by just shredding. And then at a certain point, like basically like you do a couple follow-ups with the doctor and you just see how they take x-rays, they see how the bone's healing. And then once the bone or the bones, whatever's broken, have healed to a certain extent, then the cast comes off, and then you start working on rehabbing the area that was injured. And with a bone injury, any of the bones that connect to the wrist, it's usually get your wrist range of motion back, and then you slowly start strengthening the muscles around the bones that were broken. And then once the bones, it's kind of cool actually, like once the bones get to a certain level of healing, they actually heal better if there's weight going through them.
What do you mean by weight going through them?
Like weight bearing helps with bone healing.
Like push-up weight?
Yeah, like just doing some sort of push-up or some sort of like any sort of tolerable level of force into the bone will actually make it stronger and help it heal. So whether it's like literally lifting a weight, or doing some sort of a like modified push-up, so there's weight or force going into the bone, that actually helps it heal, helps it get stronger. If you're a skater, then you know how often skateboarding injuries occur. Old Friends Fitness is run by skaters, for skaters, and is the online resource with all the content you need to stay healthy on a skateboard. Old Friends Fitness offers evidence-based information on the most common injuries that skaters face, including detailed exercise videos as well as in-depth podcasts, all designed to arm you with knowledge and keep you as strong and as healthy on a skateboard as possible.
Before we wrap up, I did want to bring it back to the warm-up video we did, the detailed Sebo Warm Up, and I just kind of wanted to...
Oh, the exercise video.
Yeah, I told like a little 30-second story about how I remembered us like getting the Sebo Warm Up going. Like, what do you like? How did you like figure out that you needed to or wanted to do something like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's very straightforward and simple. I kind of had just like a memory of playing soccer and how we used to always have a specific warm up, even though we were 10, 12, like all through like the teenage years, we just still always did that warm up, even though at that point your body's pretty invincible. So you're not, as a kid, you're not like, I'm sore or I hurt today because I'm old. But as you age, it's like, and with skating, I would get so excited. It was more to like develop patience, because it also mentally makes me kind of like aware that I'm warmed up, because skating is so mental. So I just came to you that day and just asked if you design a warm up that's like, maybe the long version and the short version, but to just like get the blood flowing and loosen up before skating. Because like I said, I get so excited, I'll go from just like sitting to trying something really crazy, and your body moves so like wildly when you skate. So the warm up is just to get everything moving, and it's like changed my life. I do it every time before I skate. And then I'm like, when I am skating, I have no like apprehensions or negative thoughts of like, I'm too tight or this, because it's like, I know I warmed up really well. And when I'm dynamic stretching, if something feels a little tight, I'll do an extra like 12 or 7 on that leg and kind of like get to know your body. But I do it every time before I skate, and it changes. I mean, it's changed my life. It's been like a year and a half, and I've done it every session. I have significantly less little injuries, just like the little back tweak, the little groin tweak, like, and I feel like I can catch myself sometimes, like surprise myself how I can be sideways and then land on my feet, I feel like a cat or a squirrel. But highly recommended.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you took that, and what did you set up for him? Like, what did you design, basically?
I mean, at that point, I had skated with and knew Sebo, a little bit, and I just tried to picture all the different ways that I remember him skating. And I just tried to develop dynamic stretches and different ways to warm up that sort of mimicked all the movements and types of skating he would do, and it eventually turned into this thing that we're gonna show in the video.
Cool.
But Sebo's kind of further customized it depending. I feel like Sebo, right? Like depending on the day, depending on what you're skating. Like how do you customize like the Sebo warm up based on you skating a set of stairs or based on you skating ledges? Like how do you tweak it to get you ready for a certain type of skating?
Yeah, I mean, I have there's certain ones that I kind of like are my favorite. Like open book is something I like mandatory. I do it in the morning when I wake up. I do like the 2 back ones as soon as I wake up. And then I'll also do like the grab your knee, but I'll do it sometimes on the ground. And then I'll also do leg raises as like an ab workout. But I just kind of like the more I've done it, I'll add or subtract certain things. And then especially if I'm sore, like I said, in a certain area, like my back's real tight, I'll just do multiple versions of it. Like I'll start with 7 on each side to like loosen it, and then I'll come back and do 10 more, or I'll do 12, or I'll do 22. Like it's always random increments, I don't go by seconds as much as I'll just do. And maybe I'm like, sometimes I'll go out and I'll start with 10 on each side, and then I'll go back and do another 15 on each side. And then maybe I'll do 10 again. And then I'll be like, oh, I'm so crazy warm. I'm going to do something I've never done before. But it's like, you basically, you know your body, and I just kind of feel it out. And it's fun to make it your own, because it's, like I said, if you feel everybody's body's different, you could sleep a certain way and something's tight, and it's like, you can just kind of like ad lib, like make it your own.
Yeah.
By sticking kind of by the
I love that
mandatory
you've done
ones,
that.
but then adding or subtracting bits here and there.
You've really done it perfectly, because I'll see you at a spot and you'll be doing more of one thing one day, but more of another thing the other day. So you just like have the basic gist of it down, and then like every individual's different, but also every individual is different within themselves, like depending on the day or depending on what they're
Yeah,
skate.
yeah, because you could be sore, so you're kind of tight, or like I said, if you sleep different, and especially as you get older, it just is like your body starts to change. So the warm up is kind of like adaptable.
Yeah.
Because you could just do 5 back stretches on one side, and that's enough, because maybe it hurts, but it still is like loosening it up. And then sometimes I'll skate for like an hour, and then I'll do it again once I'm warm, and then I have like better extension. And then maybe after that, start filming. Or if we jump in a car for an hour and I get out, I'll do more there. Like you just, you just make it your own and freestyle it.
Yeah.
Because it mentally really makes you, like, for me, it makes me mentally strong. Like when I did that trick on Staples Center, I had a morning, like I took a long morning walk. And then when I got home, I did a full run through, and then we drove to Staples, which is like, every time I drove there, I was like, oh, because you get there and you look at it and it's just like scary looking. But I was confident that day because I had that warm up, got to the spot, did the full warm up again. And then, I just was mentally strong. And that was the day that I did it.
It's really encouraging in that way, because you feel like it's a little check on yourself. Like, all right, I've gone through and done the things to make sure that like I do feel good enough to skate right now. Because a lot of times, like in skating, dude, there's nothing organized about showing up at a spot and performing. Like you have to be able to just do something to get your mind right and to make you think your body feels right. And it's like,
and it also, I trip on it even lately, especially thinking about it, like from when I wake up to when I'm like in the heat of a session is such an like unbelievably drastic difference. Like I could wake up and maybe last night I'm all fired up and like, all right, I'm gonna nollie backside flip triple set today. And then I wake up and I'm like, oh, like it sounds so nice just to like watch a movie and paint today, you know? Because when you wake up, that sounds like devastating to jump down something and get all scraped up. And then when I'm in it, I'm like an animal, like screaming and like I love falling and like I eat it up. And I'm just like, but when you ollie that stair and maybe you bail that first ollie and then maybe you land on it and then maybe you land one, like it's all like a process to get to that like peak adrenaline rush. And the warm up is like that first step.
Yeah.
Because when you wake up, you're like level 0. So from wake up to that 12 stair is so different that the warm up is like that in between that kind of gets everything going. And then you do a couple tricks on flat and then you hit that 3 stair and then you play a game of skate and then you skate the 10 stair, 12 stair, whatever.
Yeah.
And you're good to go.
Yeah.
Or you tail slide the ledge, Kyle, whatever you want to do, but you want to be warm.
To fakie.
Come skate the ledges. Kyle, you'd love the spot that we've just resurrected down here.
Yeah, was that in Venice?
Yeah, and it's literally like you're looking at the ocean. So fun. You could skate the second one too and pop over.
Dude.
It's kind of secret, so maybe don't leak this.
Okay, I won't. But I want to digress your switch tail slide flip out with a regular tail slide flip out there.
What is that? Is that with Brett or who's filming that?
I'm gonna film it with Brett and Skate Rat, and then just have Skate Rat edit it and have it just be like a Skate Rat online part.
Let me get a regular tail slide kickflip out cameo in your part.
I'll give you a tail slide varial flip cameo.
Exactly, dude. It's got to be a varial flip out. None of that, dude.
Your standards.
He's a pro skater, Kyle. You can't be having these.
No, the thing is, like, it's gonna go switch back, switch tail flip, and then yours comes in. So we can't go back down the mountain. We got to keep elevating. So we need the varial. All flip.
Right. Well, I'll be in the credits then. I haven't sprained my ankle in a year, and I want to keep it that way.
Bring that one back. Bring it back, dude. I believe in you.
Okay.
You've done it. I've filmed you do it.
All right. No, you have not. You filmed me break my ankle twice.
Well, that also happened, but I filmed you do it at the courthouse on like an 8.5. How did you do that?
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Did you do the Sebo Warm Up that day? I don't think so.
I did for sure. But I was 4 years younger. That helped.
No, I mean you get a tail slide kickflip cameo, no problem. But yeah, you should come down and skate it sometime. Honestly, they're like brand new and fun. Yeah. All right, dudes. Good times.
Hey, Sebo, thank you for everything.
Yep. Yeah.
Love you. Miss you. I can't wait.
You're the man, Sebo.
Till we're all just skating together. It makes me a little sad. Just
Sebo, I got a new pair of shoes.
Ooh.
I got 2 pair of polar surfer pants.
He's got 2, Sebo.
I ordered 2 pairs. So I'm ready to skate,
I was gonna say let's go like to the park, like to MJ's park. But honestly, I'm loving the beach. You should just come down here. We could skate here or Sand Gaps whenever you want to. Just let me know.
Cause you're off early enough. I guess the days are long right now.
Not anymore, but weekends
I'm
down.
Let's do it.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for everything.
Peace. Hell yeah.
All right. Peace.